Hi, everyone. I am so excited about this call. Sarah is amazing. I just love her, and she is really killing it in the in-person event game. And she is about to teach us all her tips and tricks and everything she knows. So take it away, Sarah.
Awesome. Thanks, Haley. And hey, everyone. Um, okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, um, from my perspective, I just think in-person events are really important. And we heard that from Jake, and we've also heard it from other leaders of ours that we've got the Zoom thing down, and that's really great. And it's an awesome tool to use. But I do think that getting in person is really important because I do think that people are just craving to be together and to share their stories, to learn from people in person, and then also in this case to experience the products, to touch the things and see the things, and then also to taste when that's possible. So I just think in-person events are really wonderful, and we in my team have seen great success from them. So the way that my team is right now is a lot of us are local, and so we are able to support one another, which is really great. So I don't know, that might not be your case, and so it might not work in your situation to do it exactly like how we've been doing it. But so for us, a big focus has really been sharing the products and to kind of get customers, and just to help people with all of their pain issues and sleep issues and stuff like that. Because I know for me, I think of so many people when I think about our products. I think about a certain person and I'm like, oh, this product would be really great for them. And so it's a way to introduce them to the products. Even though we've had a focus of sharing the products and for the customer side of things, it actually has created ambassadors as well. So it can be dual focused. So for us, we typically name the event like a tasting event. I saw Katie mention it as a viewing party. And that can be if you show one of the opportunity calls, you could also name it that. But we do a tasting event to show that people are going to be able to actually try the products. For some people that the flavor, the taste of things is really important. For me, personally, if something is good for me, I don't really care, I'll just take it. But for some people, taste is super important. And so we like to show people that it's going to be an event where people can actually try things. The location for us has varied. One of my ambassadors is a chiropractor, and so we were able to have an event at her office, and that was a third party location, which was really good and more business oriented. We've also had an event at an apartment building in the community room, because one of my ambassadors lives in an apartment building that has a third party community room that can be checked out. And so we had an event there. And then we've also just had events in home as well. So at my house or at other ambassadors' events house. And that is just intimate and really low key. The time of events we've been doing them in the evenings. Just be mindful of people with kids, and then also people getting off of work. So for us, we've tried 5 o'clock, we tried 6 o'clock, and actually I found that 6:30 is kind of the best time. I have an event coming up this month that's going to be on a Saturday afternoon, at 1. So that might also be a good option. Another thing that so I'm in Minnesota, and so right now there's always storms happening. So one of my events was actually a storm happened, and we didn't cancel the event because there were a couple of people that still were fine to make it, and I was too. So we still had the in-person event, but then we also did Zoom some of the people who were planning to be there in person. They just Zoomed in, and we're still able to be there to like ask questions and stuff like that. They just couldn't taste anything, obviously, but they were still there, and like that actually worked out really well. At first I was really nervous about it, but it ended up being like totally fine and really good. So for promoting the event, we do both, I mean, a lot of different things. We do in-person inviting. So whether that's like texting or messaging or calling or just like face-to-face inviting people to an event, and just make it really personal, like speak to them about like whether it's a pain issue that they're having or like something that that they would love about experiencing these products. Make it really personal, and be like, I don't know, like, Kathy, I know that like you really struggle with sleep, and there's a couple products that are like really targeted to sleep, and I've experienced really good things, and I have a lot of friends and family who have experienced good things from these sleep products. And so I'd love to just have you come and learn about these products, and then also to be able to sample them as well. So make it really personal. We've also, like, to cast the net to like the wide masses, we've created graphics, and then we put them up like on our Instagram, our Facebook. You can just text those out, and a lot of times like put it up with a poll so that people can opt in, and you can get the information out to them like that. Also, some people have done like Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives to kind of promote the event and just talk a little bit about what is going to be happening at the event. And it kind of gives, you don't want to give it all away, but kind of pique people's interests. And then also, I had an ambassador who did a really great job. She created actually like a Facebook event for the in-person event, and she, like, leading up to the in-person event, she made posts, like really simple posts, but just like enough to build momentum and anticipation and give a flavor of what was going to be happening in the in-person event. But I think she did a really wonderful job of building that momentum and making it sound like really exciting. So we have a unique situation. I think I already mentioned that like most of my ambassadors are pretty local to me, like within a half hour. And so we, at our events, we typically have like 2 or 3 of us who are at an event so that we can edify one another, and we can share different experiences that we've had with the different products and with the business side of things and stuff. So it's not just one person's voice, like me inviting a bunch of people in and like, this is my thing. We try and support one another and get together for the events as much as possible. And then that also makes it possible that we can have product at the event as well, so that people can like experience it. I mean, holding something, some people, like, I met with one customer of mine before she was a customer who, like, she just wanted to meet at a coffee shop because she just like wanted to hold the bottles in her hand. And I think some people just really want to actually like feel, like, see the things. So having product is good. Also, having a computer with the slides. So I always just use the on the queue, like back office, the slides, the presentation slides that are used on the Zoom. I use those for, it's basically like doing a Zoom, like the opportunity call. That's like basically what we're doing, just in sort of a different way. And I'll talk on that. And then also another thing that's really helpful that I have found is that to have all of the PDFs either printed out or just have access to them on your computer, so that when you're talking about the different products, you can just like not have to know all of the things, right? Because that is something that we're constantly told is like, don't be the expert. And I don't want to be the expert, even though I kind of do want to be the expert. But like, I like to know things. I like to research and stuff. But I think it's important also to just empower people to like take this and read it. So as you're talking about, you know, just like holding the bottle of Renew or whatever, and you're talking about it, if somebody's really interested in it, they can actually look at it and they can know for themselves, like on ingredients lists and stuff like that, they can read it themselves. And so I actually, I'm kind of a nerd. I like actually laminated them just so that like I can wipe them off and stuff like that. So, but that's not necessary at all. It just, I have a laminator, so that's what I did. So we typically, as people are arriving to your event, I typically start with having like one of the sport drinks or anything that has caffeine in it. And when I say sample, like they're just getting a small amount, so it really shouldn't matter anyways, but I always like to start with anything that might have caffeine in it, just so that we've been doing things in the evening. So just to kind of get that out of the way. So we just kind of gather and hang out for, you know, a couple minutes until everyone arrives. And that gives you a chance to just get to know the people, because at the events that I've been at, like, I don't know everybody. The people that I haven't invited that like maybe my other ambassadors have invited, it's given me a chance to get to know them and hear a little bit about like what they do. And you know, different, like I always listen for different things that could then later in my presentation or in our presentation relate to a certain product, and so that I can kind of like speak to them directly. So just like really in a couple minutes try and get to know your audience and just get to know how you can speak to them directly. So we do sport. And then as far as the presentation, I had mentioned that I use the QIQ presentation slides, and it's really just kind of like introducing the company, the men behind Q, and the growth of Q, just kind of just like an opportunity call. The real difference is that when typically on an opportunity call, like we talk about the products, but usually kind of highlight like one or two and then move on to the next thing. We kind of go through all of the products mostly and go a little bit more in depth on each of them, not too far, but just a little bit. And that's also where like having these is really important. And then can sample different things. So like we've typically done like one or two drinks that we sample. So like Calm is always a good one in the evening. One of the events we actually made a smoothie with the protein powder. And then as far as sampling out like other things, we've had just everyone gets a spoon, and then for like the fuse, the hemp oils, or the terpenes, or even the sprays, like they can spray onto a spoon and try it. I'm always mindful to tell people that like you're putting these things on the top of your tongue, which is where your taste buds are. And so you're going to taste them a little bit more at a tasting event than you would if you were to actually be taking them. You take them underneath your tongue. And so the flavor isn't as potent, because some people are like, whoa, that's strong or whatever. And then I'm always mindful just to tell, like, I personally keep my terpenes and my hemp in the fridge. And so just kind of share our experiences. So yeah, we typically sample out. Not everyone tries everything. Like I've had a couple events where everyone kind of tries everything, but then some events where people just really wanted to try like one or two certain things. But it's like a really fun, casual time where like we're talking about the products. It's a time where people can interact with them, and they can interact with us as we're like giving the presentation of the products, and also just our experience with them, because I think experience is actually like the thing that really sells people. And I know that's what, like, somebody's experience with something will typically get me hooked faster than like, this is the ingredient list, even though I am an ingredient list reader. But it's a chance then for people to interact and like ask questions or be like, okay, so this is my situation. And then they like share, and then we can just kind of talk about a product in relation to their situation. So that's been really fun. So after we try the products, then we typically talk about ordering as a retail versus preferred customer and kind of give the distinction. I don't know about you guys, but I have found that a lot of people, like, they hear preferred customer and then they like automatically think like they're locked into a monthly order and a minimum of like so much a month and all that stuff. And so just to explain that preferred customer, it like, there's no catch and there's no, like, you're not required to do anything. It's just, it's actually going to save you money. And I always give an example of, I had one customer who signed up, and I had explained all this to her, but she still signed up as a retail customer and she ordered like a decent order. And so I just reached out to her and was like, hey, you might want to just like chat in about becoming a preferred customer because it's actually going to be cheaper. And so she did. And she ended up getting more product for actually less money. And so just explaining to people the difference between retail and preferred customer. And then that's also a time that then I go into, we talk about being an ambassador and what the difference between preferred customer and ambassador is. That's a time that we always have the comp plan on hand and can show this. And there's, you know, usually 2 or 3 ambassadors there, so we can talk about our experiences of being ambassadors and talk about all of, you know, the resources that Q gives us, the amazing community, and stuff like that. And so that's a good time to talk about being an ambassador. And then we leave it open for people to ask questions. But like I said, the way that it is formatted, typically like questions are being asked throughout the evening. That's where like in-person events are actually so nice, so different than Zoom, because I don't know, Zooms are so hard to like have interaction, where in-person events, it's a lot easier to have interaction. And I think people are like really craving that and love that. So this past week, we actually had an event and it lined up with Katie's opportunity call on, was that Wednesday night? And that was really fun. So we did like kind of our normal thing where we did like our tasting and stuff, but then we put on Katie's opportunity call, so we were all able to just listen into that. And that was kind of the time where like Katie was able to explain being an ambassador, and that is like so in line with, you know, edifying people. Like I was able to then edify Katie as a leader and just like lean on her for like leading these people through the idea of being an ambassador. So if you could line up an event with an opportunity call, like in person, that would be fun, because then you can all listen in at the same time. Otherwise, I know that some people just have played recordings of opportunity calls as well. So that is always an option if like you don't want to do any talking at all. But if you want it to be more focused on products, then you can just like kind of elaborate a little bit more on some of the products. And I mean, you can like just pick a few like key points on each product and just kind of talk about them. Then as far as how it's gone, like we've had actually really good results from just gaining customers and ambassadors from the in-person events. I don't think we've ever had an in-person event where like at least it didn't like result in at least one customer. So they've been really effective. No one has ever signed up on the spot, which is very fine. Most people just want some time to think about it and to like explore and look themselves. And so whoever invited the people to the event, we share their link, typically just like text it to them or whatever, and then they're able to go home and look for themselves. There's been a few times where we've gotten into three-way chats with a person and then like an ambassador and me or whatever, just to answer any questions that they might have in the like following days. And just always leave open communication over the next few days and follow up with them. Follow up, I think, is really important, and just seeing where people are at after an event to see if they have any other questions, or if they want, I don't know, if they need more information or whatever. Another thing that we've done is, like, for instance, let's say we sampled out like Tiger Punch or something. If they were really interested in the sport, like if there was someone who was really interested in the sport but didn't want to, yes, anyone who is really interested in the sport, like we would give them a packet of the dragon so that they could try the two different ones next to each other. So just be open, I think, to give samples of stuff too. I think sampling, not to just like give stuff away, but if you have someone who's really interested, I think giving samples of something that you did not try that evening, or like the night that we had the Zoom call where there was the storm, there was someone who was really interested in trying the collagen. And so we were sure to get collagen to her, and so that she was actually able to try it. And she actually ended up ordering. So my husband is always telling me, because we used to be organic vegetable farmers, and he's always like, you have to spend money to make money. And it's so true. Like we saw in our farm, like we would give some CSA shares away as advertising and stuff, and it always returned to us. And so I think that's how sampling is. Like, don't just frivolously give it away, but wise sampling, I think, always reaps fruit from it, because Q products work too. And I think like Q sets us up for that, because things actually work. And so just be open to try sampling. Also, after an event, we've done different promotions of like anybody who was at an event, we will pay the $10 customer fee, or we've also done like splitting the ambassador fee. So whether like you want to split with an ambassador and pay the full ambassador fee, or if you just want to say that like you would pay half of the ambassador fee. So somebody who's signing up as an ambassador only has to pay $20 instead of the $40 or $39.95, $40. And that, I mean, that's so cheap. That's so cheap. Like I said, we started our own farming business, and I mean, $40 to start a business is so ridiculously cheap. So if you even cut that in half to be $20, that's awesome. So you can do promotions like that. I know other people, like I have heard other people who like give a spray or something for somebody who signs up that night or within the next week or whatever. I usually set a time limit of like a week or something like that. And for the promotions, I do that. Another thing I know that I've also heard, like anybody who comes to an event and like brings a friend or whatever, you can like give them something like a spray or something like that. I've heard that be really helpful too. And so I think that's really it. That's all I've really got as far as events. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions? Did I miss anything or? I say if you're like nervous about it, just do it. I think in-person events are so fun. I'm an introvert, and so like large groups make me nervous, but just small intimate things are really great. And I think that they're just like really fun, and I think they're super effective. So
I think that was so helpful. Thank you for sharing all of that. It it was so helpful. And I love that you have like the product sheets laminated or printed and the comp plan. That's so genius. Um, if anyone has any questions, just unmute and go ahead and ask. If not, we can end it.
I just want to say that I was part of an event this week and it showed amazing results. Having some people interested in signing up and also signing up. And I heard from those people that came that they loved it also because then they could try the products because like Sarah said, some people are all about the taste and some people don't really care about the taste. So they said it was really nice to be able to try it before buying it. So yeah, thank you, Sarah.
Love that.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. You're, like I said, Sarah's team is just like killing it with these in-person events. So definitely, if you've been thinking about doing one, like Sarah said, just do it. I'm going to be doing it too. I have not done any and I'm really excited. So this was super helpful. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And if anybody has any questions, always reach out to me.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks everyone.